Hello, everyone. I'm Meg from Maison Jupiter and Beyond Mystic, and welcome to our weekly Beyond Astro forecast here on the Beyond Mystic 3 YouTube channel. We are in for quite a week, so we are going to get all into it in today's episode of Beyond Astro. I want to say thank you all so much for watching and supporting this show and all the shows that we have on Beyond Mystic and Maison Jupiter. We are in eclipse season. Oh my goodness. So we're going to talk about this. We've been in eclipse season for the past, I would say, couple weeks already in the energy of it. But now, as I'm filming this video on October 11th, we are only 3 days away from one of the biggest days and happenings of the year, which is a new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So we're going to be talking all about that. Love to hear from you guys and see how you're all doing. So let us know in the live chats and the comments below how you're all doing, you're feeling out there with this eclipse energy, just the energies in general. I noticed and thought it was really interesting in the Divine Feminine Oracle show that Julie, myself, and my fiance Jens happened to be in last night, which was very fun. A lot of people mentioning in the comments and us ourselves saying we're having a really hard time sleeping, waking up super early, sleep disruptions going on. So I thought that was really interesting that a lot of people are having that. So if you're experiencing that, put that in the comments below, or just mention in the comments below how you're feeling in general so we can all check in with each other and see what's going on. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Beyond Mystic 3's YouTube channel. We've got so much amazing content going on at the moment, and I love being a part of this community. It is just super magical. And when you guys like and share, which I know a lot of you do, and thank you so much for your support, it helps us to be able to get these messages out to the greater public, to people waking up, learning about this information for the first time. So thank you all so much for liking and sharing and making sure you're subscribed. And also want to mention that I am offering personal astrology consultations, which are available over at maisonjupiter.com. The link is there in the picture. And I'm currently offering 1 hour birth chart astrology readings, going deep into your birth chart with you, and 1 hour looking at your year ahead and your current astrology, which is a really good one to be doing this one right now as we are in an eclipse season. And eclipses are one of the most important things to be paying attention to in terms of our current astrology and looking at the year ahead. So that's a really good one to be doing. And we've got discount code all in one word, Beyond Mystic, that you can use to get 10% off your next reading with me. Okay. Oh my goodness. How are we all doing out there? So first, before we get into the energy of this upcoming week, just want to do a little recap of this past week and this past weekend. Now, the last Beyond Astro, I talked about the Mars square Pluto that we're still having a little bit right now. Well, we are still having it right now, but it was exact on the weekend. To be precise, it was exact on, I believe it was Saturday, when the whole situation kicked off in Israel and Palestine. So really, really crazy that what's going on in the Middle East was sparked off with the Mars square Pluto, which is one of the most intense, conflictive, lower vibration aspects we can have in astrology, which can show war. And I said that in the last Beyond Astro before this weekend even happened, which was really, really interesting. And I also mentioned in the last Beyond Astro about the exact last day, which was October 9th, that we had the exact last Pluto return point of America, where Pluto was at 27 degrees of Capricorn retrograde, which is the exact position Pluto was in when the Declaration of Independence was signed and America was birthed as a country. And I mentioned in the last Beyond Astro, pay attention to what's going on in America, the government system and the leaders, because there's going to be something very significant and interesting maybe coming up on that last few days of the exact last Pluto return, or the first few days of Pluto now being direct since yesterday, October 10th. And I thought it was really, really super interesting that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on October 9th did a speech from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Sorry, I'm messing up my words today, you guys. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., for those of you who didn't see, stood right outside of where the Declaration of Independence was signed and did a speech declaring his independence, changing his campaign slogan to "Declare Your Independence," and saying that he is now running as an independent. And this guy, I mean, he's either got an astrologer or he's just naturally in alignment with the astrology, because what are the chances of him doing that speech on the exact last day that Pluto is in Capricorn, 27 degrees retrograde, which is the exact point Pluto is in when the Declaration of Independence was signed, which we're not going to have for another 248 years. So just wanted to mention that. That's like so crazy, and really interesting to see how that's going to develop now in the States with this movement on top of the Democrats and the Republicans. Now this independent movement happening as well. So very, very interesting. We're going to be witnessing what's going to go on with that. And I also want to say, I'm sending lots of love, light, and prayers, and I invite everyone else to, and I'm sure everyone else is doing this already, to the sacred and ancient lands of the Middle East. Because I'm not going to get too into it here on YouTube, because this Beyond Astro gets streamed on YouTube and Rumble. But as a lot of us know, the Middle East are very sacred lands where there's a lot of really important sacred sites, things going on there. And it's very sad and horrific to see what's happening there. So sending lots of love and light and prayers to everyone in Israel, everyone in the Middle East, that whole area. And I'm not an expert on that area, so I'm not going to speak about it very deeply in this video, but just sending my love and my prayers to that whole very sacred lands. So yeah, intense things going on, right, you guys? Let's bring up the chart for the eclipse, October 14th, 2023, which is going to be Saturday. We've got the first eclipse in Libra, with the eclipses now being in the axis of Aries and Libra. So new moon solar eclipse in Libra, 21 degrees. And eclipses is something that gets really hyped up in the astrology community and the spiritual community. And we're always, you know, freaking out when the eclipses are happening or we're in the eclipse season. But I notice it's not something that's talked about a whole lot when we're no longer in the eclipse seasons. And actually, the kind of astrologer that I'm always paying attention whenever I do a personal consultation to where the eclipses are activating and highlighting in people's charts, because it is one of the most important things to be paying attention to. So why this is because eclipses are one of the biggest events that happen astronomically and astrologically. It's the biggest deal pretty much in between the relationship of the Earth, the moon, and the sun. And eclipses represent doors closing and opening, really big life changes, new beginnings and endings, closures and beginnings. And with this first eclipse being a new moon eclipse, it's about new beginnings, new things starting, new things coming into our life, big new changes having to do with the areas of life that Libra rules. And Libra is the sign that rules balance, our relationships, others, beauty, harmony, fashion, luxury, values. Taurus and Libra are about our values because they're both ruled by Venus. Music, art, marriage, the legal system, the courts, and justice. So those are all very highlighted of areas of life as we're coming into this eclipse time, eclipse season. And not just now, not just for this week, for this weekend, or eclipse season, but for the whole next 6 months to a year. The eclipses are a chart. The eclipse charts, rather, are charts we can look at as themes of what's going to go on for the whole 6 months, next 6 months to a year. So it's a really, really big deal. And it's very important, if you want to be in alignment with the astrology, to look at where these eclipses are happening in your chart. Okay. So you want to see where you have 21 degrees of Libra, which not everybody is going to have a planetary placement or a placement in the chart at exactly 21 degrees Libra. If you do, though, this eclipse is going to be affecting you immensely. There's probably really big life changes and transformations going on for you, depending on what the planet is and what house it's happening in for you. But for everyone, you want to look at, and I'm going to try to explain this, okay, and I hope that it makes sense, how we can find where the eclipse is activating in our chart. Okay, so how we do that, and every astrology program is a little bit different. I like to use Astro Gold. So this is Astro Gold. How you find where Libra 21 degrees is in your chart is, first of all, we want to look at the outer rim of the chart. Okay, if you can see where my mouse is moving, you guys. This outer rim is where we see something called the chart rulers. Okay. And I'm going to try to explain this as simply as possible and not get too technical. The beginning of every astrological house has a chart ruler, okay? The sign and degree that rules that house. We can see in this chart, for example, this is a chart of the exact time of the eclipse from Utah, and I'm going to explain why I put Utah in a couple minutes. We can see the symbol for Libra here. So you're going to want to look up astrological symbols. You'll see this is the one for Libra. So we can see, oh, in this chart, Libra 28 degrees is the chart ruler of the 11th house. But we're looking for Libra 21 degrees, which is going to be in the 10th house, because Libra 21 degrees is between 29 degrees of Virgo, the previous sign before Libra, and 28 degrees of Libra, the next sign. So I hope that makes sense, you guys, as to how you can find a certain sign and degree in the chart. And the chart rulers go counterclockwise. They're moving counterclockwise. So I'll give another example, you guys. The next eclipse we're going to be having in 2 weeks is Taurus 5 degrees. So you're also, and we're going to talk about this in the next Beyond Astro, you're going to want to look at where you have Taurus in your chart. That's the symbol for Taurus. And 5 degrees, right? If we look at this chart, for example, Taurus 5 degrees would fall in the 5th house, because Taurus 5 degrees is between Aries 28 degrees, the chart ruler of the 5th house, and Taurus 22 degrees, the end of the chart ruler of the 5th house. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. You just want to see where you have Taurus and Libra in your astrology chart. And again, if you have something at 21 degrees Libra or 5 degree Taurus, the next eclipse, or within 5 degrees before or after those positions, you're going to be affected very greatly by these eclipses. Also, anyone who is a sun, moon, rising Libra, Taurus, Aries, or Scorpio are going to be very, very affected, more so than some of the other people, by these eclipses as well. That's because Aries is the opposite sign to Libra, Scorpio is the opposite sign to Taurus, and also all of the cardinal signs, because Libra is a cardinal sign. So important to pay attention when we've got eclipses to what the heck is going on, what is showing up in our lives, what is going on, which I know sounds very simple, but it's very powerful when we can just pay attention to what's going on, what's coming up for me, what are the synchronicities I'm having, is there anything in particular coming up that's kind of unusual, or any thoughts that you're having, any inspirations about things, new things to be incorporating into your life, new projects. Libra is a very creative sign, but the main thing about it is relationships and balance. So this eclipse, and for the whole next 6 months to a year, our relationships are going through a transformation. And Libra rules committed relationships, love relationships, business relationships, clients, relationships where we're in a commitment. So if people are in not very healthy relationships, those relationships are being tested, especially during this eclipse season and for the next 6 months to a year. And if people are in healthy relationships, then these relationships are going to the next level. There can be marriages, proposals, recommitment of vows, those kind of things. If it's love relationships or business partnerships, going to the next level. So important to pay attention to our relationships with others and what's going on with that, and reflecting on that as a way to work consciously with these eclipses and being honest with ourselves about our relationships. Okay. So for me personally, like, I'll just share something on a personal level. I had a realization last night. I'm being reflected back from some of my personal relationships at this moment that I am like not really good at responding to people on time. And in terms of my friends and family members and stuff. And I've had this happen quite a few times in the past couple of weeks, of people that I'm close with reaching out like, Meg, why aren't you responding to me on time? Are you ignoring me? What's going on? So I'm having an issue personally coming up in my relationships around, why am I not communicating with people enough? Why am I not responding on time? What's holding me back from actually putting energy into some of my personal relationships when I am a naturally social person? So that's more of a personal just example, just to share with you guys. It's not always necessarily like a breakup or the start of a new relationship. It can be with eclipses, but it can also be really important patterns showing up, being reflected to us from others in our lives about maybe something we need to work on within ourselves moving forward. Maybe something that, about ourselves, but also about others, having to do with the relationship dynamic. And like that example, personal example I just shared, being honest with ourselves about how are we doing in our relationships? Is there anything that we can maybe improve on? And I'm hearing Spirit say some of us maybe need to be a bit more vulnerable in some of our relationships. Some of us, it's safe for us to be vulnerable with people. And maybe that's just a message coming through intuitively for me, for anyone that's been hurt in relationships, that's wanting to be in a new one romantically or business-wise, or even friendships as well are highlighted. Because even though Libra is not typically friendships, Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, which rules friendships, is conjunct this eclipse. So it's pretty much any kind of relationship being highlighted. So I really like as well that even though Venus, the ruler of these two eclipses, the new moon eclipse in Leo and the full moon eclipse in Taurus, I really like that even Venus is in Virgo, which is the fall position of Venus. This is going to be really good for us to see clearly in our relationships, because Virgo is about criticism, judgment, the nitpicky details in life. We're going to be able to see really clearly what's going on with our relationships, how we're being in the relationships and how others are being, and if things really serve us or not. So we can be feeling more naturally critical or aware of the nitpicky details in relationships, which can help us to transform them and make any changes or transformations necessary. So it's also helping with Venus and Virgo for us to raise our standards and our values in our relationships. So yeah, let me know how everything I am saying is resonating with you guys in the comments. This is a really, really big one, this eclipse, where again, Spirit's wanting me to say we need to pay attention to what is coming up for us at this time. Pay attention to what house this eclipse is happening in for you in your chart, because that's a highlighted area of life, not just at this time, but for the whole next year. And if you have any particular planets at Libra 21 degrees or around Libra 21 degrees, very important to look at. Let me see what else. So another important thing about this eclipse, which I find really interesting, which I've been talking about on some of the shows we've been doing already, is that the exact path of visibility for this eclipse, this is going to be the exact, what we call path of visibility here, where the eclipse will be 100% visible and you can see it in the sky. It's going to be over the Pacific Ocean, then over Oregon, Nevada, then go right over the Four Corners, a very sacred area, down through Texas, and then over the Maya lands of Mexico, ancient Maya lands, and then into Central America. So I'm making a prediction, as an astrologer, with this eclipse, this new moon, new beginnings, new moon eclipse happening over such sacred lands of the Four Corners, and then the ancient Maya land in Central America. I think maybe even during this eclipse season or on the day of the eclipse, but definitely over the next 6 months to a year, information about our true Earth's history, information from these ancient civilizations, indigenous people, are going to start to be revealed. Things that we have not heard about yet, things that are important to bring balance, Libra, back into our world, and justice and truth, Libra. So I am definitely going to be paying attention over the next year to the area of the Four Corners, to the Navajo Nation, the Hopi Reservation, the Maya people, what archaeological discoveries are going to be coming up, because I think some huge archaeological discoveries are going to be coming up, maybe new sacred sites found. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to go on with that. And what's interesting too is the Navajo, the Hopi, and the Mayas all have prophecies about this time that we are living in now, which the mainstream like to call end of the world prophecies, but they're not end of the world, they're end of the times, end of the age that we are currently in now. So those prophecies are going to be highlighted too, and some things having to do with those prophecies are going to come to light or fruition, I think, over the course of the next year for sure. So very, very interesting. Let's pay attention to those areas and those archaeological discoveries coming up. Very, very exciting. And if you are going to be in the areas along this line, you better get outside at the exact time of the eclipse. Look up the exact time of the eclipse in your area, because it will be 100% visible for you. Very, very cool. And also, this is a picture showing the path of visibility for the October 14th eclipse, but also the April 8th, 2024 eclipse, which is the Great North American eclipse. That's going to be happening April 8th, 2024, total solar eclipse in Aries. Why is it going to be the Great North American eclipse? Because it's going to go over Mexico, US, and Canada. And look, that eclipse and the one we're just about to have creates a bullseye in Texas. So Texas is going to be super highlighted, a very active place for, I would even say, the whole next 2 years, with these eclipses being in the influence of Libra and Aries. And interesting, this is right along the border of Texas, and there's a lot of things going on around there. If you guys know what I mean, I'll be careful on YouTube here, but Texas, there's going to be historical events happening in Texas over the next year, having to do with independence, empowerment of North America and the whole world, and freedom. Very important historical events. So if you're in Texas, you've got a front row seat to the shift of the ages happening. So that is very, very exciting stuff. And let me see, is there anything else about the eclipse that I want to say? I know it's a lot of information, you guys. I just want to make sure I'm saying everything. I think that's it for now with the eclipses. Let me know how you guys are feeling about everything I said in the comments. And if any of the themes I'm mentioning are coming up for you on the personal level already. Okay, so I also want to mention too that, yay, Julie and I have our Astrology Foundations course that is available over at beyondmystic.academy. And this Friday, October 13th, Julie and I are starting the live classes that are going to be happening every Friday from October to February, where we're going to go through all of the 12 signs, all of the signs in each of the planet positions, a lot of the foundational information about astrology. So we're so excited to offer that out to you guys. It's available over at beyondmystic.academy. And if you want to be a part of the live classes in real time, make sure you sign up. And we have 15% off discount code Astro15, all in one word, that's available until October 12th. At midnight. So that discount code is going to be available until then. And we also have a really cool workshop that Janine, Julie, and myself did called Tarot and Astrology Connections that comes for free with the Astrology Foundation course. So it's a really good value for what you get. And if you're interested in astrology, check it out because we're going to have so much fun doing this course. And we are so, so excited about it. And thank you to everyone that has already signed up. And oh my goodness, look at this light going on in the video. It looks like I'm in an eclipse right now. That is really, really crazy. I've never had that in a Beyond Astro before. So, okay, before we finish up, let's pull some cards on how we can best kind of navigate the energies of this week with this eclipse. Oops. How can we navigate the energies of this eclipse? Let's see here. Wow, you can't make this stuff up. So we've got from my astrology cards, the Ascendant card, the Moon card, and Juno, the Partnership card. And this eclipse is all about our relationships and our partnership and balance. How can we navigate this? The Ascendant is the part of our chart that represents how we show up to the world and our identity that other people see. I feel like when it comes to our relationships, we need to just be ourselves. The message coming through from Spirit is if you are not feeling like you can truly be yourself in a relationship, whether that's love, friendship, business, with clients, anything, it is not in alignment, and you got to be yourself. Your gift to the world, Spirit is saying, is you being yourself and shining in your unique gifts and vibration. And the right people are going to be attracted to you by being yourself. I'm feeling really strongly like a lot of us are going to be making new connections over the next year with these eclipses happening in the relationship axis. There's new friends, there's new partners, there's new people to work with coming through. The people that are in your life right now are not the only people that are always going to be there. So really strong main message of being yourself, connecting to who you are on the inside. The moon represents who we are on the inside, on the emotional level, our private self, connecting that to how we show up out in the world. And if there's a disconnect, look at that. What is holding us back from really being ourselves if there is that disconnect going on? And let me see, I'm going to do another pull just on general divine guidance. And thank you, Spirit, for that previous message. Now I'm going to ask for general divine guidance from all our soul-appointed guides, the universe. General guidance as we enter into this eclipse season. General guidance. Okay. And I'm also going to pull from my Lenormand here. Wow. A personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer card. So a lot of, it's pretty self-explanatory. Our personal issues are reaching a healing place and a resolution place. And I keep hearing intuitively during this whole video, Spirit saying, pay attention to what is coming up at this time. Pay attention to what's coming up around you. We are all going through healing and resolution of personal issues at this time. Pay attention to what it is. Sometimes we don't realize certain things are happening and there's actually healing going on or something coming forward for us to look at, because we can be so attached to being in the moment of a certain situation. I keep hearing pay attention because we're all having personal issues come to a healing place. So that's a really big blessing. Full moon in Cancer, I like that card because the moon is at home in Cancer. So to me, that's really positive. Work with this energy consciously, and we can go through really great healing processes during this full moon. And in the Lenormand cards, this is interesting. We've got the Heart card, the Broom, and the Anchor. So I always love the Lenormand. You guys that watch Beyond Astro before know how freakily accurate these cards can be. So this is basically saying our relationships, our love relationships in particular that are committed, the Anchor represents commitments and safety, are going through a cleansing and a cleaning. This is making me feel like the Venus and Virgo energy. We are going through a huge collective cleansing and clearing. So even if I'm hearing Spirit say you are in a healthy relationship, and there's things coming up right now, don't worry, there's nothing seriously wrong. Just things are coming up for cleaning. We're going through a collective cleaning. So yeah, our divine guidance from the Lenormand is our committed personal love relationships, love life going through a big cleaning as we are stepping onto the highest timeline available. So eclipses, sometimes very unexpected things can happen. Like you could be listening to this video like, yeah, I'm not in a relationship. I don't want to meet somebody. But eclipse energy can be shocking. It can be things coming out of nowhere. You meeting a random person at the grocery store or a yoga class or whatever, and you fall in love with them. That's eclipses or fated events. So I keep hearing Spirit say, pay attention. And bonus card, emotions are running high. Definitely. So don't take anything personally that maybe anybody's projecting onto you, because the emotions are running high because of the eclipses. Also because, the world situation, what we just had happen this past weekend, I'm really feeling in our collective unconscious, there's a lot of high emotions. So doing also cleaning, that cleaning card of the home, of yourself, doing a cleanse can help us to cleanse the outer world as well. So hope that makes sense and resonates with you guys. And just want to mention again, if you'd like a more personal astrology consultation with me, those are available at maisonjupiter.com. And I think my earliest availabilities at the moment are the end of November, if I'm not mistaken. And also today, October 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern, Julie and I are going to be doing a Astro Decode live show on the Maison Jupiter YouTube channel. And we're going to talk about the sacred trilogy of your sun, moon, and rising. So that's going to be a really fun and informative show. So tune into that if you're interested over at the Maison Jupiter YouTube channel. And I love you guys all so, so much. Wishing us all the most magical eclipse day, new moon eclipse in Libra ever. I'm hearing Spirit say, let's stay in our hearts. Let's observe and not absorb. And I'm sending so much cosmic love your way. Love you all, and have a magical eclipse week and weekend. Bye, everybody. See you next time.